Minak. I run the events over at 10 Capital. We have a great event for you today. We have 9 companies pitching, 5 minutes each with some Q&A. We encourage our investors and anyone else in the audience to ask their questions. We'll try our best to get to them, but if we don't, we'll follow up with you afterward with any questions you have. Well, I'll just get into it, I guess. We're gonna introduce our panel of investors today. So Rajeev, do you wanna get us started on that?
Sure, Shane, I'll just keep it really brief. We have a lot of good text coming up. I'm an individual investor based out of Austin, Texas. I look forward to hearing what everybody has to show here.
Great, Vadim?
My name is Vadim Balashov, Viaduct Ventures. We are a California Series A and seed fund, currently deploying. And we like, in terms of technology, we like artificial intelligence. In terms of business model, we like B2B or B2B2C SaaS. I'm currently in Europe. It's quite dark here, so with your permission, I will not turn on the camera today.
Yeah, no problem. Well, we don't need to see your face today, no problem. And last but not least, Vishal Arora.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Vishal Arora. I'm based out of Los Angeles, California. I'm from a venture capital fund called VDOSH. We are focused on pre-seed, seed level, early stage startups, and we are also basically currently in the deployment phase. And looking forward to hearing all the 9 decks that you have, all the presentation you have.
Great, thank you so much for that. Hall, did you also want to introduce yourself and give a little bit more about 10?
Yes, my name is Hall Martin. I'm the CEO of 10 Capital. And 10 Capital, we help startups and investors connect for funding. And we do this both online through email and through online events like this. We have 6 events per month, and we're expanding that to 8 next month in September. And it's a great way to meet with investors, get feedback from them, as well as find an investor for your deal. If anyone in the audience is interested in learning more about 10 Capital, please reach out. Glad to tell you more. And we're looking forward to the pitches today.
Great, so with that, we'll just get right into it. So can Todd from ADoH come up and get things started?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Thank you.
Right, whenever you're ready, I'll start your 5 minutes.
Okay. I am ready to go. Okay, thank you. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I am Todd Hardman. I am the CEO and co-founder of Health Connects. I'm glad to be here to talk today about a couple of things that are pretty important that are evolving in our industry of healthcare. At a key point in time, digital platforms and digital health is starting to take over a lot of what's going on in health consumption. One of the issues with that is that doctors are still having to make a lot of decisions without a lot of information that would be otherwise available. So there are naturally a very substantial amount of assumptions that are still being made in care delivery. So what we espouse is to help fix some of those issues by starting to know more information when it's exactly needed. At the heart of the issue is that today's care is really compressed into 12 minutes on average for a patient visit. Clinicians have almost no time to be able to do what's necessary to understand the full dynamics of every particular patient. And the results are treatment is inadequate, it's not well coordinated, and oftentimes prescriptions are prescribed when they shouldn't be, or there's confliction in prescription medications. So as a consequence of that, there is a massive amount of overspending in the marketplace. This is really caused by that lack of the overall patient experience, the total holistic view of the patient. That's also not timely. There's information that's not really actionable. Therefore, the practitioners take a lot of time trying to figure out what to do about that patient without that complete set of information. So in effect, what's needed is a true patient-specific that focuses on the 3 primary determinants of health for every patient. That's their behavioral, their social, and their compliant, that be prescription, ability to stay on their prescriptions. By doing this, doctors can really know what they need to know and make better decisions at the time of care. So the reason why this is important now that the industry is at a very big tipping point of expense and the requirement by government and policy to enforce better standards for care to get to better outcomes at a lower cost. In effect, what we can do by assuming these, by providing these new insights is about reinvigorating the physician and patient relationship. The fact is, today in that very compressed time, the doctors and the patients are falling less and less in touch with each other. What we can do is create a better way to connect that patient and the provider to get to a better outcome with the patient. Here's how it works. So on the left side, you can see there's a patient mental health condition that we survey in 90 seconds, a digital survey to look at things like stress and anxiety, depression. And we do this in a digital survey, a very scientific method that very quickly captures that more precisely than any other paper type instrument. Then we infuse on the other side prescription and social information, these other determinants of health that actually show the complete picture of the patient. Those data come in and the value out is better insights, better treatment and outcomes for all patients. Our go-to-market strategy is very clear. So what we do is align the use cases. Our data sets are comprised of filling use cases for things like adherence, medication therapy, population health, and we align those use cases with channel partners, of which there are over 1,000 channel partners today that are in digital health to consume data like ours to help their end user customer, hospitals, have the information they need to make better decisions faster. We're aligning quickly with partners, and this is a growth example of this year. One of our customers has gone from 442,000 transactions at the beginning of the year to 476 in just mid-year. And they're adding new layers of our determinants as we go into next year. We're lining up partners. We have a great pipeline. These partners don't have the insights at our level, and they need this stuff so they can actually produce better to their customers' expectations. These are customers we currently have in process, have contracted with, and are consuming revenue from today. Our business model is quite clear. We charge a $2.50 data transaction fee on a per patient basis. This nets to get to a $32 million target that we look to achieve by 26. So to get to that, we need 20 channel partners. We only need for them to have 10 customers each at an average of 10,000 transactions a month. By do that, that gets us exactly to that top line revenue trajectory. So we're looking to grow to raise a current round. We have $1 million round open today on a bridge basis, and those terms are very favorable in the early stage, and we look forward to being able to help explain anything else you need to know on that. This is our leadership team, but which we're proud to have. This is an A team of players to help us really accelerate and scale in this business model. We all have deep experience in this domain. I'll stop there. Any questions?
Perfect timing. So I'll go ahead and start 3 minutes of Q&A. Any of our 3 investor panelists who want to start that off, just go ahead and ask a question.
Todd, what's your current revenue till date?
So our current revenue to date this year is about 300,000. We will expect next year, based on our current run rate, to get to about 1.9 to 2 million.
Okay. And in all these contracts that you're talking about currently, those are basically kind of long-term contracts or SaaS-based type of contracts.
That would be correct. Yes, sir. So each of our contracts are generally 24 months. Some request 36 months. And that's generally how they're structured today. So they're pretty secure in that basis.
And one last question, excluding your advisors, how many active team members you have right now in your team?
So we're at about 12 overall right now.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
This is Rajeev.
Yep.
Do you have some estimate of your target market? I know you have a slide saying 550 billion digital health market, but the specific market that you're going after, do you have a sense of that size and what share you're looking for?
Yes, sir. I think I can show you that right away. Thank you for asking that. So our overall market is, the digital marketplace shows at about 550 billion, of which the growth in that market is going to be substantial. So our total addressable looks to be about $5 billion of a market that we think we can get to and address in a very timely manner.
Okay, and the growth rate of that market?
We think we can achieve between next year, if we're at 2 to 3 million, we want to be at 32 million in 5 years. So we think we can achieve about a 30% overall growth rate.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Great. We have time for about 1 or 2 more questions here. Vadim, if you had any, or Vishal, if you had any others.
Yes. What is the use of proceeds of the current raise, and what is at the end of this runway? I presume another round of financing.
Yes, sir. So right now we're operating to build out our current tech platform to meet scalable demand. That's the high focus of the capital right now. Our downstream strategy is to have an exit. We know that based on the runway that we're on, the exit, we start getting offers in 24 to 36 months, but we do need a Series A. We'd like to start planning for as soon as we can. In the exit, we'd like to look at an exit, and our exit strategy is going to be with one of our strategic partners, our customers, in that 24 to 36 month window.
Great. And that'll close it out for ADoH. So thank you so much, Todd, and we'll move on to the next one.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So next up, Deep Cognition.
Put it on slideshow mode. Okay, my name is Shiv Ramamurthy. Good afternoon. I'm not Mandeep Kumar. Unfortunately, Mandeep is traveling. He couldn't be here. He's in India. Mandeep is the founder and CEO. I'm an advisor into the company. And I've been advising Mandeep since the inception on sales and go-to-market strategy. So today we're going to talk about our product, and I'm very thankful and grateful for giving us an opportunity to do so. All right, so the problem we are going after is eliminating manual data entry altogether. One would think that this problem is already solved, but it's not. There are a lot of complex documents, specifically in the logistics space. We have a solution which is AI-enabled, easily configurable, document capture solution, which allows us to go after this huge market and solve this problem for our customers. Our current focus is in the logistics space. We have ambitions to move into banking, healthcare, and government as well. It's a huge market, a $10 billion market for all the different segments put together. But if you look at why we are focused today in customs clearance itself, it's a total $2.4 billion market with a whole lot of billions of pages being processed and approximately 10 to 15 pages per shipment. So why do we need to focus now? The industry, in fact, logistics in itself and freight forwarders, they are undergoing a lot of consolidation. They're trying to remain competitive and also trying to invest a lot in terms of digital transformation to reduce their cost and time. There are quite a bit of advancement in deep learning technology, which enables us to actually deliver the sort of solution which comes to solving or extracting information from very complex documents like commercial invoices. There's also significant funding happening in the space because the problems are still yet to be solved. So there's a lot of funding happening in the space. So it's a pretty exciting space to be in. So how are we different? We have cracked a problem which basically our competitors can't, which is essentially one of high accuracy. When it comes to commercial documents or commercial invoices, we really fare well. There is a lot of examples and demonstrations which I can get into later on if you have the time, if there's interest, where we can dig into the details. One of the features which our customers like and a lot of our competitors don't offer today is a customer trainable AI solution, which our customers can train themselves. We achieve very high accuracy, around 99%. One of our biggest customers out of Italy, Savino Del Ben, it's a $1 billion entity, shows us over Rosum, Vectors, and Amazon Textract, which are some of our competitors. And one of the biggest reasons they chose us was because of accuracy and the fact that they could train the solution themselves. Danny, who's their head of IT, and they deployed the solution. They had 80 pages in a customs invoices, and they are seeing a reduction of almost from 40 hours to 2 minutes. They are a production customer for us right now. We also have customers who are small in scale, but still see a whole lot of benefit with our solution. It's a very competitive landscape, but we shine for 2 reasons. One, we can handle extremely complex documents like commercial invoices and customs documents. And the other fact is we are very configurable, meaning we allow our customers to take any documents from which they receive from their vendors and then train it themselves and onboard them. Whereas when you look at Google and Amazon, they are very generic in nature. We have fine-tuned the solution, which allows us to basically solve this specific problem in the logistics space. Now, when it comes to our customers and proof of concepts, we did start our engagement when we launched our product with the smaller customers to harden our product. We had Transglobal, Riff, and Southern Cross out of Australia. We had Supercargo from Greece, one of our larger customers. But the real big customer for us was Savino Del Ben, which signed us up in June. They are a 260K annual recurring revenue customer for us. What's exciting is we started shifting our focus, in fact, to the top 50 freight forwarders. And in fact, with Savino, they are introducing us to their EU and US division as well, which basically combined will give us closer to 2 million in terms of ARR. We are engaged with CH Robinson, DB Shankar, Siva, Hellman, and a few of the big vendors in this space. Recently, we closed on Asia Shipping, which is the largest busy operator out of Brazil. They have moved from a proof of concept to an integration phase into their transport management systems. When you look at,
I'm gonna cut you off there. Just you're at 5 minutes, so
yeah, I'll just stop right here. Our revenue looks. This is our revenue projection for this year, and this is the team. I'm going to stop right there.
Great.
And right there. We are looking at a convertible notes of 500K with a cap of 8 million and a 20% discount.
Okay, great. We'll go into questions now. So any of our investors on the panel, go ahead and start us off.
Shane, I already talked to them before, so I will be following up. But I will give Rajeev and Vadim opportunity to ask the question.
Great. So Rajeev or Vadim, let us know if you have a question.
Did you you flicked through the revenue projection slide? What is the revenue projection for the full year 2022?
2022, we are looking at about 500K. We are hoping to close on Savino Del Ben. It's on production right now. So right now, with that's around 264K annual recurring revenue. So that in combination with the EU deal will help us get closer to 500K in terms of revenue for the remaining 2 quarters. I would say just a quarter left, quarter and 1 month. Yeah. And then we are hoping that after that, if we close on one of the POCs, we're being very conservative, we can get to about 3. And then, I mean, if we are hoping to go out to a Series A after that, and we can go into other segments, but then we can expect a huger growth from $15 to $40 million.
Real quick question, Shiv, if you can answer in a short time here. You didn't have much detail about the team, just about the founder. Are there skill gaps that you anticipate on this very high-tech AI focused?
Our technology is extremely matured right now, but we really are hoping to get on some experienced enterprise salespeople onboarded, and that's where we see the gap in terms of a skills side of the house. So we really want to onboard some seasoned enterprise sales team and invest also in our marketing campaign.
Got it. Not the technology, but the sales.
On the technology front, we feel fairly comfortable in terms of the maturity and the strength of the team we have. Our team is based out of Bangalore, the engineering team. We have over 10 people there.
That's great.
And, yeah.
Okay.
Great. If anybody has one more question, we have time for that. If not, we'll move on to the next one.
Thank you.
Great. So next I'll bring up everyday contacts. That's Lawrence.
All right. Thank you, everybody. My name is Lawrence Chavez, and I'm blessed to be the CEO of Everyday Contacts. At Everyday Contacts, we're introducing a new daily disposable contact lens through what we call a doctor-enabled direct consumer model. So there's a significant problem in the contact lens industry that affects independent eye care practices. Little side note, independent eye care practices earn over half their revenue from product sales. So it's meaningful for them. And essentially what's happening is even though the patient trusts the eye care practitioner on what contact lens to use, they typically, or about half the time, walk from the practice and buy lenses elsewhere. 800 Contacts, Costco, or Walmart. And what that means is the independent eye care professional loses over $500 million a year in lost revenue. So what we've done is we've created a model that's very consumer friendly. It's a direct consumer model from the perspective of the contact lens user, but allows the doctor to retain that relationship with the patient and continue to earn money by the resale of the product. Our go-to-market is to go through independent eye care practitioners, work with consultants and doctors associations, and where we've most recently pivoted to is to working with practices that have been acquired by PE. In the past 2 to 3 years, a large amount of practices have been acquired by private equity firms, and these private equity firms are driven by capitalizing on maximizing EBITDA, because ultimately these are firms that are rolling up these practices in order to resell these practices. As I mentioned, it's a doctor-enabled direct consumer model. What that means is for the contact lens user, they get all the things they like about a direct consumer experience: a branded product delivered to their home or office on a monthly basis, the ability to manage and control their supply online, but it's available from an Everyday Contacts partner doctor. And the reason it's available from an Everyday Contacts partner doctor is in the contact lens market, that is where the product recommendation comes from. People do not make an independent purchase decision. I'm going to use X lens or Y lens. It is the doctor that makes the purchase decision on what to buy. And so it is that where we marry those two things: the behavior of the doctor, the behavior of their patient, and desire for the patient to have a direct consumer alternative. We have a very strong team. I've been on both sides of the table, both as a venture capitalist and as an entrepreneur. Jim Day is our Chief Revenue Officer. He spent 17 years with Hoya Optical, most recently in their strategic partnership, heading up their strategic partnerships. Michael Herrick is our CTO, and then we have a very strong team otherwise. I won't go into detail on our medical advisory board, just to say that these are thought leaders in the industry. Dr. Alan Glazer is also on our board of directors, as well as being the head of our medical advisory board. He's an extremely well-known eye doctor and runs an organization called ODs on Facebook, which has about 2/3 of the optometrists in the United States as part of their membership. So our business model is functionally a partnership model combined with the subscription model. So we're not going after the individual consumer as the purchaser of our lens. We're going after the doctor as a resale of our lens, and the doctor will do the sale or the prescribing to the consumer. So in doing this, it allows us to not have to do mass marketing. We market through the doctor. We launched in May with a very small beta launch. That's where we've been able to learn about what our current traction is and also our pivot to the private equity groups. The goal is to get to 200 doctors after year 1, 350 doctors after year 2, and 600 doctors after year 3. We just opened up a convertible note offering at our last board call with the goal of doing a Series Seed or a Series A round of $2 million in Q2 of 2023. Thank you very much. We think we've created a unique way of doing business within the contact lens market to capitalize on consumer behavior and also the way the doctor works. Thank you very much.
Great. And you finished a little early, so we'll give you extra time for questions here. Anybody on our panel who is ready can go ahead and start us off.
So Lawrence, I believe that you have your own contacts, right? That's what basically you are channeling through the.
Well, so there's two parts to this. So we've launched We have our own contact lens brand. It is not our proprietary contact. I'll be very clear about that. The initial business proposition of Everyday Contacts is we've developed a coding technology, which we plan to introduce in about 24 months for additional differentiation. COVID really plummeted that product development cycle. So we decided to separate the business model innovation, which is the doctor-enabled direct consumer model, and the product innovation, which will come out within about 24 months.
Okay. And when you mentioned that you are raising 750K, what are the terms for that?
So the terms for that, it's a convertible note, 20% discount, $10 million cap. I think it's 6 or 7% interest. I don't recall what that is exactly, but it's the cap and the 20% discount.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions?
Did I hear correctly? This is a business process innovation. Is there a technological moat at all?
So as I mentioned to Vishal just a second ago, we do have a contact lens coating technology, which has patents surrounding it that we will introduce for further differentiation. But right now it's a business model innovation. We do have what we call our operational platform, which is the e-commerce system that's proprietary to us, but I wouldn't say that there's a moat around it. It is basically fairly unique to us, but it is something that could be recreated.
Okay.
Great. Any other questions before we close it out?
I had the same question as Vishal and his team here, Vadim. So go ahead.
All right. So no other questions then. Thank you, Lawrence. And
Thank you very much.
Move on to Joule Case.
Okay. Hi, my name is James Wagoner, and I'm the founder and CEO of Joule Case. At Joule Case, we believe that everyone deserves clean, renewable, reliable power. We design and manufacture battery systems that stack like Lego blocks to ideally size for any application. As we all intimately understand, the electricity that we all depend upon is no longer reliable. 2020 had 10 times the number of power outages than 2000. 70% of the electrical transmission lines are past their 50-year expected life. And utilities understand this and relate to the party. They're expected to spend a record $120 billion on infrastructure this year, followed with another $120 billion next year, and still have a $300 billion shortfall to meet their capital needs. With the unreliable grid, now more than ever, businesses rely on generators for their power needs. The problem is that these solutions, they're dirty, they're noisy, they're complicated, or they're dangerous. So either you have a complicated battery system that is not dynamic or flexible or portable, or you have diesel generators that are dangerous and dirty. Introducing Joule Case, the patented award-winning tech that has already raised over $4 million on its 6th generation. We have over $1.8 million in sales now and a 200% year-over-year growth rate. This is addressing the massive $120 billion energy storage market. And this is the most advanced battery system in the world. It is capable of powering anything from small devices to even enterprise and utility scale. And there are other products in the marketplace, but kind of like Goldilocks, these other solutions are either too big or they're too small. And Joule Case is always just right. This means that Joule Case is price competitive with a gasoline or a diesel generator, and we're able to quickly scale in size for any of these applications from small to large, meaning that these customers have a one-stop shop solution provider for all of their power needs. If you're not excited yet, let me tell you about our patents. We now have 7 patents granted and another 18 patents pending. This is all around the application use of a vertically integrated battery platform, meaning that we're not a chemistry innovation, but kind of like Dell or Apple, we innovate around the application or use within this product platform. This means that we have our own proprietary advanced battery management system that is able to communicate and work together in dynamic settings where the customers are able to stack and snap and have a seamless interface for those customers. It also means that we're able to output multiple different powers, whether it's 120 volt single phase or all the way up to 480 volt 3-phase. And all of this works within the same product platform. So it's just easy to work and It's seamless for this customer. We also have our own proprietary Sigma data platform connected to the cloud for additional feature and revenue opportunities to provide that assurance that Joule Case will provide that reliable power that our customers critically need. Our go-to-market was music festival, and we have become the proven, trusted provider of clean energy, providing power for 3 to 5 events every week. This market has been able to prove that Joule Case can comprehensively power these very dynamic, complex, high power events and festivals. And we've been able to do this at a price point that's competitive with diesel generators. With that, we've been able to develop a reputation that is ultimately culminated in a signed letter of intent with Insomniac to be their preferred power provider and replace all of the diesel generators for all of their events worldwide would require $100 million of Joule Case, and we're currently integrated within their events, already replacing these diesel generators as they go from event to event. With COVID, we've been able to have to expand in other marketplaces, and it turns out that there's a lot of other businesses that need portable power, and we're selling into food trucks or mobile brand activations. And these are customers that have large power applications, a median ticket size, about $15,000, and we become the trusted solution provider for them as well. So this is how we kind of see the marketplace play out in these 5 different verticals. But ultimately, this is a massive market with a 25% CAGR, and we're already in the event space, food truck market space, and also mobile brand activations and events. So we're going to expand into distributed energy storage and also EV charging as well, which obviously batteries are a very hot space, and Joule Case has been able to establish a brand and a reputation here. So this is the world-class team that's making it happen. Alex and I are on our second battery startup together. We each have over 15 years of customer-facing application of battery systems. Dave DeMauro, our CTO, was Apple's head of battery. Our COO, Pete Underwold, has 5 successful exits. We have experts in sales and finance and marketing as well that have also successful exits to the name as well. So this is our revenue growth. This year we'll do just a little under 2 million, and that is last year we did 500,000. So that is a substantial growth compared to what we did last year. And really on the back end, like I said, 200% year-over-year growth. We're starting to eclipse 400% as well. But then with these partners and enterprise partners and direct B2B sales, we'll quickly ramp up our sales for a very exciting company and opportunity here.
Great, James. Yeah, just go over your deal terms here and then we'll move on to questions.
Yep. So we're raising a $5 million community round. This is a combined on WeFunder. So you'll see us on wefunder.com/Joule-case. And then also a private offering, traditional Reg D. We have a combined about 2.1 million all in, looking to raise $5 million in total. That is a $30 million free money issuing preferred shares. So thank you for your time today.
Great. So we'll start the questions off. Any of our panelists who want to get it going, go ahead.
What is what do you sell? Do you sell the actual battery cases?
Correct. So and it's not just the battery, it's a full encompass solution that has the battery, the inverters, the chargers, really that concept of, a full solution for all of your portable power needs, because it's more than just a battery. There's a lot more to that. And you're able to sell them a dynamic system that means that it can size for all of these applications. And it's these individual battery modules and power modules that work together.
Do you own a production facility?
Right now, we do final integration assembly testing in our facility in Boise, Idaho, and that has an ability to do about 500 systems a month. And our retail price on each one of those systems is $4,000.
Mm-hmm.
So just to add to that real quick, sorry, Vishal, you're selling hardware or are you selling services? Or and also related to that, the nature of your customers, is it a recurring revenue, like you have partnership with enterprises, or are you looking for one-time transactional revenue? Thanks, and let you go over to Vishal.
So we have a hardware solution right now and building out the software element of that. The software element has recurring revenue opportunities with some of these high-level enterprise customers that really need to monitor the critical status of their battery system. We also we also lease, and we also rent these systems as well to our customers. So there's several recurring revenue opportunities that we're using right now. There are a fair amount of direct sales, and then there's a direct line of sight to that software side of Joule Case that is integrated within this advanced battery system.
When you state that you will double your revenue in 2023, will it mostly come from one-off equipment sales or mostly come from SaaS?
So we see a direct sale to these businesses with a supplemental enterprise level SaaS app that they will be paying to manage their very expensive battery fleets. And then there's also going to be a good portion of selling to rental partners. So as you go through events, Joule Case has been able to power these events, but we are now selling to event rental shops that have millions of dollars of inventory of fencing or lighting, whatever that might be. And when we do that, that is a rental model, meaning that we share in that upside. So there are currently 4 different partners who are looking at large inventory orders of having their own inventory. And when they deploy that for an event, we would get 15 to 20% of that revenue for each one of those as well. So some really exciting recurring revenue opportunities there.
Great. And that's going to close out the questions for now. We'll get any other questions anyone has answered afterward. But thank you, James. And we'll move on to the next one, which is Legacy Concierge. So Betsy and Kurt.
Here we are.
Perfect. Whenever you're ready, I'll go ahead and start your time.
All right. Well, delighted to be here today. We have a product that protects wealth in the digital age. We protect wealth after a person passes away. And what is the problem we are solving? People are disorganized, their records are electronic. When they pass away, their heirs, the attorneys, the courts don't know where anything is. And where is anything? 200 accounts containing personal and financial information. The size of the market is growing. Over 3.3 million people die each year in the United States, 5.6 billion in the EU. What happens is 1 out of every 8 deaths results in identity or other theft and loss. And because all the records are electronic, over $60 billion in assets are at risk. They go unclaimed each year. So we are living in a digital era, and we have electronic records, and the trust and estate practice, the law practice, does not know how to find them. Our solution was to find them. We can locate the assets, whether it's email or financial or government. We uncover accounts and assess what is vulnerable. If a person has a Facebook account or a LinkedIn account, that's nice, it's social. But if they have a bank account and credit cards that are not being monitored, then other people can steal them. 1 out of 8 deaths results in identity or other theft and loss. What do? We organize the data and the documents in a secure cloud-based vault. There's an annual revenue stream for this. In addition, upon death or disability, we do another discovery, we update the vault, and then we look at all the assets, identify which one should be closed, transferred, or locked. And we do this as part of the standard practice of trust and estate administration. What are our advantages? We were the first people to come up with this idea. In fact, I came up with it about 4 years ago, and I just waited. I said, somebody must be solving this problem. The reason no one solved it is because the legal system did not allow a fiduciary or an estate executor to handle a digital asset like a tangible asset. But starting 4 years ago, laws were passed that required the fiduciary to do that. What that meant is attorneys, fiduciaries, estate representatives could earn more money for their services by using our product, and the estate would actually get larger because we would discover assets that had previously gone unclaimed. You want to know how big this market is? I already mentioned 3.3 million deaths per year. Our goal is to deal with high net worth individuals. 5% of that market is 150,000 deaths per year. 5% of that is 7,500 deaths a year. That will bring in approximately $30 million just with 5% of 5%. And those are the customers. We are locating their money. We are locating their memories. The legal profession per se is billing about $2 billion a year just in legal services. And we are the workhorse behind this services so that they can keep billing. They can even bill more because they're providing more service, but we're actually doing the work. As of today, as of July, this has been our traction. We have spent almost 2 years educating the market. We have spoken to over 3,500 people on webinars and in person, written about a dozen articles that have been published in Wall Street Journal, Wealth magazines, and so forth. We continue to realize that we have discovered a lot of money, in fact, over $1 million. We figured, why didn't we keep some of it? So starting fourth quarter this year, when we discover any asset, we will keep 10% of it. So we are raising money, $2 million. This is part of a seed and angel round. We have already raised $1.1 million, $455,000 from friends and family. As the founder, I put in over $500,000 myself to build the company. What would we do with this money? We will improve our engineering. We will, in fact, implement our marketing program. Here's what we have done and accomplished. You can see some pretty impressive names. Google is one of our advisors, and they have, in fact, helped us uncover assets for decedents and deliver them to the widows.
Wait, Betsy, I'm gonna cut you off right there. You're at 5 minutes. So with that, we'll
well, I was at the end. That was great.
Perfect timing. So we'll move into the 3 minutes of questions now. Any of our panelists, as always, feel free to take the stage.
I will say that our go-to-market strategy has 3 prongs. The first one is to continue educating. The second one is to collaborate with partners or companies that are in the same space. We locate the assets. We have partners who protect them with password management. We have partners that deal with death, funeral homes, and death tech. So our strategy is education, collaboration, and then advocacy. Continue to work with custodians, companies, government institutions to secure the assets of an individual after they pass away.
How do you locate assets?
We have proprietary software that searches databases, whether they are government databases, bank, financial databases, credit cards, and so forth. We have over 300 connection rules and regulations of interest. JP Morgan changes their rules every 45 days. So we have to stay on top of it.
I'd say this is, if I understood it correctly, this is post somebody passed away, you are trying to locate it. Do you plan to diversify your solution as well? Because the different areas that you are locating in, right? Like, for example, if I know that where my assets are things, but sometimes I don't have a time to cumulatively bring together. Do you kind of provide are you planning to diversify in that area as well, that you could prep them before that as well?
Yes, in fact, the discovery option, locket discovery, turned out to be necessary to perform the administration. And we realized discovery was needed. 3 hours ago, we received an order from a very large trust company that we have been talking to, where they process about 2,500 trust administrations. Finally, this morning, we got our first order from them, very large trust company, just to do discovery while a person is living, not at time of death.
And just one quick last question on that. Are your focus is going to be a B2B or B2C or both? And what do I mean by
profitable way for us to distribute our product is B2B. We've identified 200 law firms, 40 wealth managers, 75 trust companies, and a number of other targets. So it is B to B, which is where our most profitable market is.
Thank you.
That'll be it for the questions, but if anyone has any other questions, we will get them answered after, as usual. Thank you so much, Betsy, and we'll move on to the next one. So that'll be Life360. Robert.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Orr. I'm not the hockey player, Bobby Orr, but my son is still Robert Orr. Life360 Innovations is a BC based Canadian company, and we are the manufacturer, distributor of and creator of the Contino. The Contino is a first of its kind in the world male urinary incontinence device. Just to give you a sense of the scale of number of males suffering from UI, 1 in 4 American men over 40 have some form of UI. So very, very significant. The vast majority of those men use diapers, basically adult diapers, to manage the problem. The other end of the spectrum for more significant and severe cases is surgery. And then there's a number of solutions in the middle. We would be a solution that would be for a surgical option, but we're priced on the same basis as adult diapers. Our solution, first of a kind in the world, it's a male urethral insert. We're a Class 2 licensed medical device, Class 2B in Europe, Class 2 in the US. Our technical file has already been submitted to Europe and accepted, but for a little bit more clinical evidence, which is underway. So it's a first of a kind product. It basically was developed by an engineer who was our founder that had prostate cancer. And as a result of prostate cancer, had to have a radical prostatectomy, which is the removal of the prostate. He was left with stress incontinence as a result. And he was an aircraft engineer, and he was sitting on his couch, and his wife walked by and says, "You know what? You smell like an old man." So he says, "You know what? I can fix that." So he iterated a whole bunch of devices and convinced me to leave, a significant career in finance. I was a partner at PricewaterhouseCoopers, and taken up this entrepreneur road for about 10 years, but about 6 years full time. It's a subscription service, and it's actually a direct to consumer in terms of the delivery of the product, but it's a B2B in terms of delivery of the fitting and some of the services required. The customer would just simply pay us, and then we would pay the service providers to help with the service side. So COVID has been very hard on us. And so in Canada, I don't know if everybody's following it, but Canada had very, very severe COVID restrictions. So we really haven't got going until the COVID restrictions open up kind of in April of this year. We had the last of our restrictions open up in April, May. And since April, May, we've actually seen a very significant traction in the market, really June being kind of our jumping off point. Right now, we've got about 25 subscribers. We got about 35 people that are trialing the product, and we have 100 plus that are basically qualified leads that are interested in using the product and are really just going through the process of connecting with their doctor or doing a little bit more research. Each customer for us is worth about $5,000. So we expect a lifetime value of about $4,000 in profit. In terms of, we have a digital marketing strategy right now where we're generating between 10 and 15 leads a day through Google and Facebook. Cost per lead is about $20. To get those leads into trial, it costs us about $325 to have them trial the product. With every 3 people trialing the product, we end up with 2 subscribers. And so we end up with an install fee and an internal nursing cost and then a product cost. So even in our first year, our cost to deliver and bring a customer on board is about $800. And revenue from that first year is about $1,200 with a $400 profit. We've conservatively estimated a 4-year life. Lots of other traction in the marketplace. We've got 20 plus partnership agreements within BC with urologists, physiotherapists that specialize in incontinence or nurses. We have 70 plus utility and design patents granted around the world, 70. Regulatory acceptance in Canada and for the most part in Europe. It's a subscription model, so rolling out very, very significant market. This is where we see our market growing with very, very modest growth targets in terms of addressable market. In 5 years, we expect to have that kind of EBITDA and revenue growth. Very experienced team. I'm ex-PwC. Andrew is 25 years at J&J. Iris is at Pfizer. Barb was at PwC, and then a 20-year nurse, and then another medical device engineer, 25 years experience. We're looking to raise $8 million in equity. Most of the, kind of 5 million, 6 million would go towards Canadian launch, and the balance would go to laying the groundwork for Europe and US. This is our history of raising money and hitting milestones and our pre-money value. That's,
yeah, well,
join us and yeah, happy to have any questions, but join us in this journey.
Great. And so with that, we'll kick off the questions. So Vishal, Vadim, Rajeev.
Robert, did you say you are raising $8 million?
Yeah.
At what price point?
Pre-money value of 27.
So right now you have 25 paying customer, right? And
right now we have about $150,000 in revenue. That's basically in the can.
So at the $150,000 revenue, how you can justify 27 million in valuation? Just curious about that.
We've been doing this for 8 years. We basically priced our original round with institutional money managers. We've had 60 plus investors invest multiple times over the last 6 or 7 years, and we hit our milestones when we raise our money, and we incrementally have raised the price of 10 to 15% every time, and this is consistent.
Over the period of 8 years?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Over the period of how many years?
How many years have we been doing that? We did the original raise in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Other questions?
What is the use of proceeds? You're talking about raising 8.
Yeah, most the $5 million would go to ramp up Canada. We're basically just in the province of BC, and then we would roll out and really prove out the rest of the business model, although we're very confident that the business model is working. Large pharmaceutical companies like J&J and others will use Canada as a test market and just prove out their business model. So we plan to do the exact same thing. We happen to be in Canada as well, so it's a logical choice.
How do you plan to spend the money? Is it new hires?
Yeah, basically it's sales and marketing. Virtually all. Our salespeople are nurses, so we expect to grow our nurse team from 2 to probably, depending on how quickly, kind of 8 to 10 in the next 18 months. And then we have one Pfizer person, probably get another 3 people like that across the province of BC, or the rest of Canada. So really kind of pharmaceutical reps that are very senior salespeople, and they're really doing outreach to the medical community. And then we'll have our nurses that are really doing our sales force and onboarding customers.
Okay.
And then they're laying some groundwork in the Europe and US. And the bulk of the remaining proceeds would go to a reimbursement study in Europe. This is a government pay model. In North America, customers basically pay for this themselves. So reimbursement is important, but it's not critical in North America. It is critical in Europe. So we'll start that process of getting that reimbursement put together for Europe.
Great. And Rajeev, did you have a question before we close it out for Life360? We have time for a quick one.
Yeah, I see that your chart shows a regular, like clockwork, $3 million additional pre-money valuation every year, and it sounds like a mature business model. Would you characterize yourself as a startup?
No, I mean, we're raising basically a level of a Series A. So for significant investors, we'll consider a preferred share. For smaller investors, it'll be common equity. And we're in discussions with more significant players. We're looking for investors that are kind of in the $500,000 to $1.5 million.
Have you considered a franchise model to help you scale? That's more for mature businesses.
We're kind of doing that, actually. Like the contact lens business model, that actually is very similar to the business model we're using. So the cost of scaling is actually not that significant. And it's basically training, and our partners want additional visits to their sites, and they're already treating patients, and they don't have a full service of full service of products for them.
Yeah.
And so
Thank you.
urologists and physiotherapists and nurses are already treating this in their existing practices. So that's how we're scaling. In the US, we would likely look to a bigger partner like a Kaiser Permanente or something like that. So the Canadian model would not necessarily be exactly the same as what we expect in the US.
Great. We're going to close out the questions there, but thank you so much, Robert. And we'll move on to the next one. So
Sure.
Mad Genius Radio.
Okay, great. Hello, my name is Eric Newman. I'm the founder of Mad Genius Radio. This is about the future of entertainment, which we believe the innovation lies in exclusive experiences, not just content access. Unlimited access to content has been normal for a decade already, but it falls far short of those personalized experiences we all look for. We've all created playlists, CD mixes, maybe mixtapes over the years, but we've also all had the radio experience of hearing songs we didn't know were coming, yet were serendipitous for that time and place. It hit just the right spot. That hit is dopamine to the brain. It may be subtle, but the subconscious craves it. Today's apps fall short of delivering this often enough, and there is no algorithm that currently really predicts your ever-evolving, eclectic taste in music. Mad Genius solves this problem. We built this app with our Remap technology platform that allows for personalization of each listener's eclectic and evolving taste. In addition, we can add artificial intelligence on top of the Remap platform and create new connections to music that are deeper than simple groupthink correlation that's available in the market today. This app creates a never the same twice playlist of songs in less time than it would take you to create a 25-song playlist in Apple or Spotify, and is much easier to use. And as a bonus, it's profitable at small scale too. Just to be clear, what we've built is an infinite, never the same twice playlist that plays all the songs you love, providing a lifetime of lean back, unpredictable, unparalleled personalization, yet with surprise, ease, and use. Kind of a set it and forget it model. We have tested this in the wild already. We found that people listen 2.5 times longer than the market-leading music apps and skip infrequently. That is. We discovered that on average, listeners mix 6 genres at a time, all the time. This demonstrates a core need satisfied to allow people to mix things up, as people are always eclectic in their musical taste, and it's more than any of the algorithms built today can even count on or predict. People do appreciate our unique feature set, including unlimited requests, which provide surprise and delight hearing the most obscure tracks unexpectedly. The 6 phrases in black are the objections from a 4-year study of 42,000 users commissioned by Pandora to understand why their listeners were leaving. Essentially, we have an approach that is the opposite of the market leaders. That is that the market leaders mimic correlation playlists similar to how Pandora is built. All these established music apps use seed and correlation methodology for playlist creation. All these objections, except commercials are annoying, are the result of using correlation algorithms driven by hearts and thumbs, which shrinks the universe of songs, or not expands. Mad Genius is built to expand anyone's palette of music to songs forgotten, to the obvious choices, and the not so obvious. We expand what is played naturally. How do we go to market? We've hired a digital marketing firm, AVX Digital in Dallas, to manage our marketing, a team of seasoned people to handle all the aspects from creative to accountability of marketing results. They offer a full suite of digital services to find our audience, which is primarily a 35+ adult male. Mad Genius was designed based on my own deep knowledge of the inner workings of the radio industry. We are leveraging the tool set of how music is programmed in the radio industry to keep listeners listening longer, only we've removed all the clutter and repetitiveness. Our CTO, Aaron Longwell, I've known for 22 years, and he has worked on a diverse set of software engineering problems, from a sports fan site to a horse racing gaming site with Churchill Downs, to creating the only comprehensive judiciary system for any country in the world. It just happens to be Afghanistan, as he was hired by our State Department. I don't think the Taliban's running it these days, though. But anyways, he built the code. Our advisor, Tom Callahan, is well connected in the record industry for future promotional opportunities with artists and labels. And Emily and John I've worked with before. They know this technology inside and out, and they'll grow our team out of Denver to curate and handle feedback with our listeners. We can launch with $1 million, but we'll need to raise another $3 million soon after in an A round. The seed round is not valued. We'll let the A round set the valuation, provide a discount and payment in kind to the seed round investors to ensure a fair valuation. So in sum, we have an app that is built with the same ease of use as Instagram for your own self-curation of content, appeals to the 35+ male demographic, subscription model, $5 a month, built on a set and forget it platform. Our music library is as big as Apple or Spotify. It's the most profitable model possible in the digital music space, licensed for nationwide reach and ready to go live quickly.
Great. So with that, I'll move on to questions.
Eric, do you are you already did you already launch, or you are yet to launch this?
We're looking to launch with this funding round. We have 5 of 8 licenses in place that allow us to do this. The last 3 cost about $200,000 just to turn on that next step to go live. We've tested in the live wild before, but we had to keep that limited as we didn't have enough money to keep it live for being viable and going for years.
What will be your customer acquisition strategy for this?
Well, this is with our marketing firm. They have some specifics that they have articulated that is not in this presentation, but I'm basically hiring pros to figure all that out. We have numerous ideas, but it's going to be a 30 to 60 day planning to really figure out exactly how we find that 35+ male.
And the 30 to 60 days planning, what will be the cost for that?
Well, most of the $1 million is going to be marketing. I'd say roughly a little over 500,000 is marketing dollars of the $1 million raise.
Okay, thank you.
It'll take more than 60 days to go through that, of course, but that's the big piece.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
What is the secret sauce? How can you find those unexpected eclectic experiences when all of the major engines of the world keep focusing and showing you more of the same?
Yes, that's exactly right, because we don't do anything the way they do it. It has everything to do with the approach of how people actually listen to music, how the brain is wired, and how it reaches the part of you that makes you go, you like that song, but you don't like that one. Including, there's songs you're supposed to like, but you still don't like it. You don't really care why. We deal with all that in very unique ways. We deal with it by the fact that we present full genres of music to you to listen to and mix and to parse out all the music you don't like. So everybody else, if you don't like one song by Prince, or if you don't like anything by Prince, you got to delete every time Prince comes up in any sort of playlist that might play his music, an 80s hits, a club mix, best of the 80s hits, all those could play Prince. But every time Prince comes up, you got to delete each and every song. One click, we let you get rid of Prince completely. That's just one of dozens of examples where our feature set is built for you to just pare away the stuff you don't want, quickly add in the stuff you do like. And it doesn't take but a few minutes, and you can have a 3,000-4,000 song playlist that you can just basically listen to for weeks on end and not necessarily touch it, and it'll keep sounding different. Nobody else can put together a playlist of thousands of songs in minutes. Nobody does that. Only we can.
Is this an algorithm-based technology, or is it an artificial intelligence-based technology?
Algorithm. There's no AI on it currently. We would look to add that.
Great, and that'll close out the questions. So thank you so much, Eric, and we'll move on to the next one.
Thank you.
So Rob from Smallstart Ventures. Yes.
Great, thank you very much. My name is Robert Samuelson. I'm President and CEO of Smallstart Ventures. Smallstart Ventures identifies high potential entrepreneurs and provides a structured launch pad for their small business dreams. We were able to add 5,500 jobs to the economy and about 315 million to GDP over a 5-year period with our methodology. Small businesses can be difficult and to start and grow. Every business involves risk, but most small businesses fail due to a lack of capital, poor administration, lack of marketing or sales, poor people management, lack of strategic planning, and very few small businesses have mentors. We approach these 5 factors. We start with looking for our entrepreneurs, small business entrepreneurs. We do an in-depth screening for candidates. We enter into an agreement with them to start the small business, Smallstart Ventures as the owner and the entrepreneur as the general manager for a period of 3 years. We assign a success coach, which we call mentors, to that business. We provide the back office support. And at the end of the 3 years, we sell the business to the general manager entrepreneur so that he can continue on in his or her success. So as I mentioned, the 5 reasons for small business failures, this is according to the Small Business Administration: lack of funding, lack of accounting, lack of marketing, HR strategy. We provide the capital to start these small businesses. We provide the back office support and accounting, marketing, and people management, and then strategy we address through mentorship. If you look at incubators have a 10.2% success rate. And the venture capital, of course, has about an 8% success rate. One of the things that we have in our model is we know who the buyer is of the business. We know the time frame at the end of 3 years, and we sell it to them at the appraised price. So the 3 risks that incubators and venture capitalists have of knowing the buyer, the time frame, and the price, we know from day one as we start these businesses together. The jobs are created based on the number of businesses that we bring in. We put an average of 5 people for a small business, and over a period of 5 years, our plan is to grow to 1,084 new small businesses. It grows very quickly. We have 3 revenue streams. First revenue stream is because we own the business for that first 3-year period. We have the operating profits. The second is we charge a back office support, which creates recurring revenue. And at the end, at the 3 years, we have the capital infusion from the sale of the business. And that's when it really starts to look really interesting, because that's, very high margin. After the sale of the business to the general manager entrepreneur, they're welcome to stay in and encouraged to stay in our ecosystem, which would create that continuing reoccurring revenue stream. We're looking for these entrepreneurs. We call it HIP, hardworking, with integrity, and that have a passion. They also need to bring an idea with them, and they need to be coachable. But with these, so we're looking for, these are all small businesses. One of the things about a small business is they can get started very quickly, sometimes within weeks or months, not years or decades, as it may be with a venture-backed or an incubator-backed type of company. Again, on day one, we start with a 3-year employment agreement and a MOU to acquire, for the entrepreneur to acquire the business at the end of 3 years. And that's all communicated upfront and mutually agreed to. We already talked about the day-to-day operation. The general manager runs the business day-to-day. They're assigned a mentor. Smallstart Ventures grows by mentor. We have some mentors that we're working with in Cincinnati and in Northern Kentucky and in Tucson, Arizona. And we feel like a mentor can handle about 20 companies, 20 small businesses at a time. Again, the value is established by a third-party appraisal company. We have an agreement with Gibraltar Valuations, who has offices in Chicago, Denver, and Salt Lake City. The reason it's 3 years is because the SBA wants 3 years of history before you can buy a business, and so we provide that. We've had discussions with a preferred small business lender, and the ownership transfer, we own it 100% for the 3 years, and at the end of the 3 years, the entrepreneur general manager owns 100% of the business. So we provide the training wheels And then at the end of 3 years, they can operate independently.
Great. Rob, I'm going to cut you off there. That's been 5 minutes. So we'll move into questions now.
What are you raising?
We are early stage, so we're looking for $100,000 on $1 million investment. We can go safe note or convertible debt.
So what, if I understood your business model correctly, you essentially are offering a hurdle rate for the valuation, right? For a entrepreneur, that if they exceed the price that you've set ahead of time, then they would continue in the business. Otherwise, there's no incentive for them to even continue the business, right? And
the price is set at the end of the 3 years at the appraised value. It's not set.
okay.
The methodology is set at day one, but the price is as per at the end of the 3-year period.
So isn't the entrepreneur working against their self-interest for those 3 years?
So I suppose there is a risk that they may try to intentionally not work the business hard to get a lower valuation. There are, we build that incentive structure into the pay structure, and we manage that with our mentors.
Okay, I'm struggling to sort of see where the risk and the value, how they're getting this, but just need me to some more time to think here.
What's on it? How many companies are under your current portfolio?
Our first company is a company called Guiding Light Senior Care. It's by a single mother of 4 children. She is a nurse, and she provides a service to a referral service for nursing homes. So she works with families who are trying to place a parent into a nursing home. And these homes provide a 75% of the first month's rent as a commission to the referral. It's an established marketplace. And so we did a launch last week with a company called Light Switch Home Services. We're working with a business called Meadows Magic. He's a 83-year-old inventor who has invented a new product for swimming pools that prolongs the life of the plastering. So that gives you kind of a sample of kind of what we're working on, but we're early stage.
Thank you.
Okay, and that'll close out the questions for Smallstart. Thank you so much, Rob.
Thank you.
We'll move on to our final company, which is Wyth.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cal Shelby. I'm the founder and CEO. Brian is taking the presentation. Brian is our VP of Investor Relations, as well as part of our legal team. Wyth is a two mobility solutions on one platform. It is ride shares, which is rides around campus, as well as carpooling for long distance travel. Services college students need right now, no one is offering both of them on one platform. But before I get into the specifics, I want to answer one question. So why Wyth? When there's Uber and Lyft out there, why Wyth? I want you to imagine yourself as a parent of your son and daughter who are at a university. And late at night, you get a call from your son and daughter saying, hey, mom and dad, I'm about to jump into an Uber. What is your reaction? Is it okay, I'll talk to you in the morning? Or is it, I want you to immediately call me when the ride is finished and you're out of the car? So why do 9 out of 10 parents have this visceral reaction of that fear or, not knowing what's going to happen? That is the main purpose of Wyth. As you will see in the slides, the safety is our #1 mission. We have completed our summer pilot program at the University of Tuscaloosa successfully. The app is already in the app stores, and we are very excited to launch our full 7-day service this week. In fact, today is the students get back to classes. And we are looking forward to a post-revenue this weekend. We are focusing on 1,000 out of the 4,400 colleges and universities in the US, which represent a rideshare market segment for us of about $9 billion, which represents only 1% of the potential global rideshare market that is projected to be around $937 billion by 2025. Carpooling has not been successful so far in the US, primarily because it's launched in the wrong public place or using a poor business model. Students, however, have always been the first adopters of technology. Our customer acquisition strategy is partnership with student organizations. After all, Every one of their members can be either a driver or a rider for us, and they can realize a revenue share by converting them into riders and drivers for us. We have already partnered with the Student Government Association and all of the 4 Greek councils representing 66 sororities and fraternities and other organizations at the University of Alabama. The second advantage is what we call is our closed loop system. All of our users, our students, faculty, staff, and alums, they must have a .edu email address. And the third is we control the supply based on the data needs of how many drivers we need per hour. So we set the schedule of the number of drivers on each of the shifts. So for us, the gift that keeps on giving is our strategic partnership with organizations, which will lead to a B2B business model, which is we calling the sponsorship of Safe Ride program. To give you an example, at the University of Alabama today, they charge students $1,300 per semester for what they call transportation costs. If they give us just $200 per student per semester, we can give them 40 free rides that they can use between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. This would mean an $8 million at the beginning of each semester, therefore lowering our need for fundraising rounds. Also, when we want to scale to other universities, they can be our ambassadors for outreach to other organizations at other universities. Safety will be our #1 differentiator. We have instituted a QR code, which has been a big hit during the summer program when we did our pilot program at the University of Alabama. As the code is scanned by the driver, pictures of each show up on their phones, and this was a big hit. For our version 2, we are looking to add also, after 11 p.m., if you are a female driver for us and you only want to pick up females, you'll be able to do that. On the other hand, if you're a female rider and you only want to be picked up by a female driver, you'll also be able to do that. We're also creating something that we call the circle of trust, whereby users can create a group of friends, and whenever they feel threatened or scared, one push on the Wyth button, it will send an SOS text to all of their friends to call me. And this will work not just when they are on a ride with us, but it will work anywhere and anytime. For version 3, we are looking to create what we call a circle of volunteers to elevate the level of safety at a university. It will be similar to an Amber Alert or a community watch group. Our performa numbers are very conservative with regards to the penetration, campus size, as well as rides per hour. However, they do look excellent. We have used an average campus size of 15,000, even though the University of Alabama is over 40,000 students. 100% of the schools that we met to date loved our program. And the last question they asked is, when can you roll here? We are rolling, and we have launched at the University of Alabama for 2 reasons. One is because they are a large, iconic school with the ride shares of approximately 40,000 rides per week. We've been told repeatedly that data is very, very important, and we will be collecting at least more important touch points than anyone in the industry. The market opportunity, there are 263 cities where Uber is in. There are 2,800 college towns, and we have raised $562,000 so far from family and friends and 2 safe agreements. We are looking for a $1 million round, 10 million valuation at 20% discount. We have a very strong team. Wyth is different, and we are serving a different market, a different customer segment using a different model. So we're looking forward to hearing from you. Go Wyth.
Great. Thank you so much, Cal. You went a little over the 5 minutes, and we're nearing the end of our time here. So let's get right into questions. Any of our panelists can go ahead and start us off.
What is the use of proceeds for 1 million? 1 million is not a lot of money for your business model.
That is correct. To be able to fully launch at the University of Alabama, we're also looking to get a TNC agreement in the state of Georgia. We've already started conversations with the University of Georgia as well as Georgia Southern, and we also have already established conversations in the state of Arizona. So in January this coming year, we'll be launching at least to one other university.
As well as the development of the technology of this version 2, which will be done in the next 30 to 60 days, as well as the technology around this version 3, which will include the circle of volunteers, so that anybody at any time can actually alert anybody using geolocation within their immediate vicinity if there's immediate threat. There was a question talking about surge pricing. That's one of the advantages we actually have is this is a set price, and that's one of the ways we actually can take market share, and that we differentiate. Not only are the safety features different than the rideshare apps that are already out on the market, but we have a set price, but we control those. We schedule these, and it's not just the number of rider or drivers that are whoever's out on the street. We can actually schedule them and tell them to be on call at that time.
All right. Good. So if there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and close out the last presentation. I want to thank everybody again just for being here with us today. If you have any interest in the audience in any of our companies, feel free to reach out to me directly at Shane Pinnock, ShanePinak at 10capital.group. Anybody who's watching the recording of this session, same to you. We'll be following up with everybody in the audience and on the panel just to see what next steps we have. Hall, did you want to add any words?
I want to thank everybody for pitching today. I thought they were all very good and all had great value propositions, and looking forward to next steps with the investors. And I want to thank the investors for their time and the questions they asked as well.
All right, great. And for our panelists, we do have a short debrief after this. If you'd like to join us, it should be on your calendar with a link. So feel free to join us there following the session. And with that, we'll go ahead and close it out today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Hall.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.